Hey everyone, welcome back. And today I want to talk about why VR it's still not mainstream in 2020. Why? We have been talking about listening a lot of people talking about VR for many years, but why it's still a small thing even in 2020. Okay, so uh, before that, if you would like to receive more technology review, especially about VR, don't forget to subscribe this channel. I basically release videos very often. Okay, so back to our topic. In my opinion, there are two main reasons that VR is not taking off. So the first reason is you need a, a headset to join a VR, and if we want the VR to be more popular for many people, we cannot just rely on gaming. We need to rely on some other use cases, right? For example, like VR social, VR meetups, VR live events, where people can join and interact with each other naturally in the VR. But the problem with that is there are only very few number of people really own VR headsets. Yeah, that's the problem. There are a lot of social events that people can join with their computer, just like joining a VR in their computer. It's like 3D environment in their computer. But I joined that via my computer for a few times, but I don't feel that's a good user experience. The experience basically pretty bad. I would rather just join a meetup, join a like video conferencing meetups. That's just much easier, right? So if you couldn't join with your VR headset, basically there's no point joining the VR social events. Okay, so that's the problem because social events really need to have a lot of people there to increase the value of social event itself. If it's a social event but there's only just 2 people, 3 people there, you probably won't want to join the meetup event, right? So how to get the people to overcome the hardware barrier is pretty hard. Now the VR devices is the basic one, the very usable basic one. I would say is like $200. That's still too much for people who don't really want to play VR games or doing other thing with VR. So imagine you're just you want to host a social event at your workplace, and you want to host that in the VR environment. But how many of your colleagues really have VR headsets? Probably very few, probably less than 5% of them. So that's the reason. There's an obstacle to you to join to kind of do the VR event. And I do think there's a solution for that. The solution is we should use the VR events. We should combine the VR events with video conferencing solution together, because a lot of actually meetup are happening in the video conferencing course, right? So if we can let a VR social event, that's a VR social event. If you join with VR device, you will be in the VR environment. But if you join with your maybe Zoom, other video conferencing solutions, you will be shown in the VR world. You'll be showing just a screen, just a computer, small screen there, and then people in the VR world can see you. And if you're using a Zoom call or other video conferencing solution, you will see other VR person in your just a small avatar there, just like other people using using video conferencing solution. So it's an interface between VR and the video conferencing solutions. That must be done. Otherwise, you cannot attract people to join the VR social event. So this kind of integration is very important. So this is my first opinion, and the first reason I think that VR is not taking off is just too few people really have devices, and the incentives for them to install their kind of devices is pretty low now. The second reason is the VR. The whole point of using VR is actually to I'm just discussing the using VR for social events, for meetup events. The reason we want to hang out with each other is because we can sense more things. We can see the person. When we see the person in person, they feel more real. And when we are in the same physical environment, we can share the same physical experience. Let's say we are sitting in Starbucks. Let's see just the Starbucks by the sea. We can basically see the ocean through the windows in the Starbucks. Then we can discuss that kind of things. Then we can smell the ocean. We can hear the waves come and goes. We can see seagulls. This kind of real sensing experience. But we can actually do that in VR now. But the problem with that is the VR world now is not realistic enough. Basically, it's technical constraint. Most VR environment just provide a very low resolution. Let's say it's around the resolution of PS1, which was like 20 years ago technology. So if you compare VR resolution to the current AAA computer games resolution, is very different. The current AAA computer games, they just look like, sometimes you cannot tell the difference. You cannot tell that's a movie, real movie, live action movie, or it's actually animated scene, right? You cannot tell that because it's too realistic. Until VR can do that, there are really less incentives for people to use VR, because the point of using VR is to replace the in-person communication. It's let's say if you want to use VR to replace in-person communications, it's because you can replicate the in-person communications, the things, because you will be immersed in the same environment. You can experience same thing. That's very important for the in-person communication. But the VR so far couldn't do it very well. So that's the second reason why the VR adoption is so low. Yeah, imagine if we can wear a VR device, VR headset, and we immediately jump into the very realistic environment. Just like now you're playing those the best state-of-the-art computer games. They kind of are realistic. Then probably more people will be willing to use VR. So that's I will say the technology is still not mature enough, but it's kind of evolving really fast. So I will really look into what VR will become in the next 10 years. I believe, and third reason, probably the smaller reason, the VR device is still intrusive. Even you can argue that Oculus Quest 2 is smaller, but for the general public, it's still too big, still too much for them to wear that. It's not really comfortable if you want to wear that for 5 hours, let's say. That's just too long for them. Even just 1 hour, a lot of people feel uncomfortable. So that's why the adoption rate is so low. Let's summarize above two main reasons and the one additional reason. The first one is just too few people have devices, that so you really hard to leverage the network effects. For example, hosting a social event. And the second one is it's just not realistic enough for people have incentives to join, to really use VR. A lot of them will rather use a video conferencing solution, because they can just see even the video. Sometimes the video in the video call is not really high resolution, but it's better than nothing, better than the VR one. VR one is sometimes you just show avatar, right? And the last reason is still a little bit too intrusive. Until we can have a really lightweight, it's just like the glasses, they kind of lightweight VR headsets. People will not really widely adapt to VR devices until until we can solve that. So that's the reasons that why I think VR is not taking off. If we can address at least two of those reasons, we should be seeing more and more people using VR. So that's all for today. If you would like to receive more videos about VR technology like this, don't forget to subscribe. And other than that, I will see you next time.